Have Russian forces just taken a key stepping stone on the way to seizing Bakhmut? And what is Russia's strategy in Donetsk? We're going to be breaking it all down right now. I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. It is December 17th, 2022. This is your daily Ukraine update. Let's get into it. But actually, first, I want to make two notes. The first is that some people have pointed out that there are people purporting to be me on WhatsApp. I am not on WhatsApp. The only places you can reach out to me personally is the Instagram that's linked in the description, this YouTube channel, the Discord. That's it. Anyone else from any other source is probably impersonating me. And also critical, there are pages uploading my content onto Facebook. I am not even on Facebook until now. That's right. I'm linking it in the description. I have a Facebook page. I'm actually going to be putting some of the additional daily update news on there that I don't really get to in this video. So be sure to follow, like it, do all that stuff so that Facebook, the algorithm, knows to show people the legit content, my actual page, and not these impersonators. Anyway, now let's get into it. Okay. First off, when we look at the territorial control map near Bakhmut, you can see there are two major changes. The first is in the northeast region of the city, and that is Russian advances moving towards this key road. And I actually think that this is significant because it is a roadway, actually the intersection between two major roadways that allow access into Bakhmut. Now, I don't believe that Ukrainian forces were using these for any recent length of time. As you guys can see, that they are just simply too close to the fighting to be effective lines of control. And again, Ukrainian forces are using these roadways to the northwest. But the more roadways and intersections Russia can control, the more they're going to be able to maneuver troops around the battlefield, right? Once they've seized this intersection, it means that they can bring troops up here, potentially reinforcing this intersection as a strong point and using it to push further south into the city. So not a great sign for the Bakhmut defenders. Again, we also see, though, that they're trying to dig out this tree line and probably not enjoying a ton of success, which is key. You have to be able to use natural obstacles, natural terrain in order to get standoff distance and to hold off enemy advances. So this tree line seems to have largely held, and that is going to be crucial to preventing Russian forces from advancing deeper into Bakhmut. When we look to the north, right, we can see that actually Russian forces are assessed as having fully controlled Yakovlivka, or partially, controlled Yakovlivka. Other sources have recently assessed that Yakovlivka has indeed been taken by Russian Wagner mercenaries. As you can see here, PMC Wagner mercenaries are reportedly have captured the village of Yakovlivka east of Bakhmut. Now, what is the significance of seizing Yakovlivka? Well, as we've talked about, one of the key aspects of taking Bakhmut is going to be cutting it off from other major Ukrainian defensive strongpoints. That's Russia's strategy in this. And incidental to that strategy is going to be taking places like Soledar, Bakhmutsky, Blahodatne, but the problem with taking Soledar and Bakhmutsky is that there's other strong points here, Yakovlivka. And you guys can see Yakovlivka is probably within about 10 kilometers of Bakhmutsky, meaning that this can serve as a fire base, right? If you can move artillery into this position, you can also have reinforcements that can maneuver to support any major push into Bakhmutsky. So this trifecta forms a series of strong points that can support each other with indirect fires, drone reconnaissance, and remember, if enemy forces try to maneuver, let's say someone tries to flank Soledar, they're going to have Ukrainian forces at their back. So these sort of tripartite strong points can be really effective systems, really strong defensive positions. And so being able to create disruptions within that, to break that system apart, is essential to thwarting this sort of effort. And it looks like they've taken their first step to doing so by having the Wagner mercenaries have taken Yakovlivka. In the process, you see they engaged probably a tremendous amount of shelling near Soledar and these other defensive strong points. Now, can they hold it? Like we see here, Russia's sort of famous for declaring victory just a bit prematurely, and Yakovlivka looks like it's still contested. But it is a tough spot to be in because, as you guys can see, with Russia controlling these flanks, you know what I always say. A salient like this cannot be sustained for long. Either Russian forces have to advance to even it out, or Ukrainian forces will be attacking it from three sides, pushing it back. And if indeed Russian forces have taken significant portions of Yakovlivka, it seems like the answer may be that they are going to advance along this salient and hold it here. So what does it mean for Russia's overall strategic goals? I think it's pretty fair to say that this is part of an effort to really capture and hold the Soledar Blahodatne area. And you guys can see this major roadway can be a staging point for further Russian incursions towards Bakhmut and serves to cut off Bakhmut from Ukraine's ability to reinforce its troops there. As we've talked about, this sort of dual strong point system of Bakhmut and Chasiv Yar are going to make it really hard to complete an encirclement, but advancing up through Soledar and then coming in from the north is probably Russia's strategy, or at least forming a blocking position here so that these forces in the east and south can continue their efforts to advance. You've seen, again, Optine, Russia really struggling to gain a foothold here. And depending on the actual map that you look at, Russia may or may not have taken part of this village here, this suburban area. And you guys can see yesterday they were assessed as having controlled portions of it. Now it appears that Ukrainian forces have actually pushed them out of this entire suburban area. So this is the sort of stuff that we talked about in urban warfare. What makes it so hard? They probably did control these buildings. Then the Ukrainian forces literally were probably able to maneuver around them, cut them off, appear in places where they had ostensibly cleared them from, and the result was that they were forced to withdraw back across this river line. So this is exactly what you expect to see on urban warfare. Can become so convoluted, it almost defies mapping, simply because of how dynamic these conflicts can be. Anyway, guys, I hope this gave you some more insight into the Battle of Bakhmut. Obviously, it continues to change all the time. But be sure, first off, if you want access to the uncensored combat video breakdowns, you want to become a member of the Patreon. The link to that is in the description. But seriously, give a like to the Facebook page. We're going to drop a fresh video on there today. And yeah, that's all I got. Thanks so much.